I can do it this way instead. At the risk of confusing a couple of people, I have to show you this. Number equals 1. While number is less than equal to 7, total plus equals number. Number plus equals 1 does exactly the same thing. This syntax, plus equals, is just shorthand for what I had up here. Total plus equals number is exactly the same thing as total equals total plus number. Number equals number plus 1 is idiomatically written number plus equals 1. How many people here speak something other than English as their first language? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Okay, about half the class. All right. English is real hard to learn. Right? Not as hard as verbs in Russian. I gave up. But English is a hard language to learn because here's the words and what they're supposed to mean, and here's how people actually speak the language. I see heads nod. Okay? The same is true in programming languages. And if you're going to write code for other people to read, you want to write it in the same style that other people use. Right? We were very confused for a while because a friend of mine kept referring to hen sandwiches. He meant a chicken sandwich, right? But as an Italian, for him, every noun has to have a gender. It's either a hen or a rooster, so it was a hen sandwich. You wouldn't say that in English. It's technically correct. It's just not how we would say it, right? Similarly, most Python programmers and most programmers in languages like Java, C++, C# will write it this way. They will say total plus equals number rather than total equals total plus number. It does exactly the same thing. Why do it like this? Anybody want to guess? Why is this the preferred form? Don't think about the computer. Think about human beings reading and writing code.
It's shorter.
It's shorter. Is that always a good thing?
No.
Maybe, maybe not. Okay. Okay. One reason is, yes, it is shorter. There's no redundant information here. Right? I told you I'm incrementing that. That is clearer. Right? Because your eye doesn't have to keep track of the fact that that and that are the same thing. Let's skip ahead just a little bit. If I said something like audio recording at sample size times 2 minus 1 is audio recording at sample size minus 2 plus 1 times 3 times width of signal, right? If you're reading this code, you're very unlikely to notice that the typing mistake there is sample size plus 2 plus 1 instead of sample size times 2 minus 1. Right? I mean, it's only a couple of characters difference. You've already read this, so your eye is expecting to see certain things when it reads that, so it will make a mistake. Not all the time. Careful reading will find it. But of course, if you're looking through code saying, okay, what is this doing? This is much more error-prone than saying something like this times equals, let me put a space in there, 3 times width. And let me type that correctly for you. Okay? Clearly, in this case, I am multiplying that by 3 times width. There's nothing else I can be doing here. So this is why this form is preferred. It's clear that this is being applied to that. If I duplicate the expressions on both sides, now you have to read them both carefully to make sure they're actually the same expression. Human beings are not good at careful. Right? You don't design a user interface so that the human being has to read ahead very carefully a few lines to figure